Welcome to Data Process System webinar. Let me introduce myself. My name is Mai Omar Desouki. I work as a senior SharePoint consultant at Vodafone VIS in Egypt. On the left, this is my contacts, my Twitter, my email, and finally my blog, maiomardesouki.com. So feel free to contact me for any further information, questions, consultations. Just feel free. And yeah, today this is our session making your holiday workflow on SharePoint 2013. The tools that I'll be using during the session is SharePoint Designer, InfoPath, Visio, and of course SharePoint. So let's see our agenda. Think business and then visualize it. And visualize it here, we will see how to see the charts in Visio for the flow charts for the workflow in Visio, and use the actions in SharePoint Designer, and then we will package our workflow and deploy somewhere else on SharePoint Online on Office 365. SharePoint 2013 workflows is for automating common business processes. So when we think about workflows, and especially when we think about our holiday, and how long does it take for the vacations to be approved, and how long is sometimes the process in some of the companies. For example, like if you are an employee and you have a team leader, which is, normal. So you need to have an approval from your team leader, and then you need to go to the HR, and then needs to go to the finance, and then your vacation is gone. Or at least it will be late. So you would need to have approval as fast as possible. So in SharePoint, when removing papers, we will have our vacation faster than it is. Also, not to forget that you can just use any device to approve the vacation. Okay, so you will have your vacation approved. It should be like 1 or 2 days. It depends on the cycle, which the thing that we will do in our session. Moving on to thinking business, when we do our workflows, and if you are the technical person now listening to my session, when you start doing your workflow, you need to gather information first, okay? You need to see the requirements, and then you need to see what is the pain point that is always is affecting the process and making it a pain point or taking time to approve the vacation. Just think about removing a whole papers totally. If there is a papers, use it, but only for creating the vacation request form. In SharePoint, we will build a form, all right? This form is the paper that the company is using. So you need to take this paper, but then you do it electronically and then remove the papers totally. First, we need to really gather in the information, which is going to be something, not just accurate, and then the requirements, which you will take the whole information and try to put it in a process. You try to put it in order. Yes, you try to put it in order, and then you see where is the pain points in here. Like maybe in this part of the process you removed the papers, but you made one employee, for example, like the HR, to do a manual task, for example, like checking the balance for the employee, to approve or to not to approve. Why do you have to let the HR go manually in somewhere else to check the balance for the employee? Why not automate it? Why not display it, for example? Okay, so this is one of the pain points or the manual task for the HR. So we need to automate as much as possible, remove the papers, make sure that our requirements are accurate and expected as well by the end user. Because sometimes we technical people take the requirements and the expectations was different. So, okay. So visualize it. This is a button or a button in the ribbon in SharePoint Designer where we will switch between the text-based and visual designer. I just went through the technical part. Was that the business in the previous slide. Then next we will be in the technical part. Okay. And moving on, we have lots of actions. If you look on the right side, you have coordination actions, you have core actions, even the recent actions that I was using. All right. So you have the actions in categories. Okay. Those actions depends or is related to what's in between. For example, we have document set actions. You can see that because it's below this. There is a scroller. The document set actions is related to the document library, and the list actions is related to the list actions with the list items and so on and things like that. And so on. If look at the last one, the custom actions. Here, if we created a custom action using using Visual Studio, you can see this custom action in your SharePoint Designer. And here I did this. Do you see this distributed action? This is not an out-of-the-box action. This action was created using Visual Studio and then added here in the actions in SharePoint Designer. Why is that? In case you can't find a suitable actions in the actions in SharePoint Designer. For example, like I want to send an SMS to an employee when I send an email, or when there is something important, when the status is emergency, and so on. It depends. Okay. Conditions in the workflow. So the two most important buttons on the ribbon in SharePoint Designer are the action and the condition when talking about the SharePoint workflow. The conditions of the workflow, we have also some conditions, and we divided them by 4 categories. The first category is the general conditions, which is any value equals to any value and so on. The second is are available inside an impersonation step, okay, which is about the permissions. And the third category is not divided into categories when you see it in the screen. I mean, you have just common conditions and then you have other conditions, okay? But because they are related, so I divided them on 4 categories. Looking at number 3, it's available only in the workflow that is associated with a document content type. Why a document content type? Because when it's a document, we have a file size, right? When it is a document, we have a file type, all right? And then when we create a side workflow, we have other conditions that are available or can be used in the side workflow. So that's why the categories here are divided into 4 categories. The conditions, sorry, are divided in 4 categories. And yeah, that's it. So moving on to our business case, which is a holiday workflow. I just like to go and do things technically instead of PowerPoints. And let me tell you what do I have here exactly. First thing is that I have a sub-collection called theme.contuso.com. All right. I have a vacation request document library. Okay. And I have a contacts list, where I have 2 people, May, and current balance is 10. Well, you know what? Originally in the original life, I have 0 right now. Anyway, so moving on. And Peter has 0, which should be me, but anyway. Okay, the vacation types. It's a custom list where I added sick leave, annual vacation, emergency, official vacation, and at the end, German vacation. The reason I added those vacation types here is because I have a form where I'm reading the vacation types from this custom list. So it's dynamic, which means you can come later and add an item in these vacation types and automatically my form will display it, which is a good thing, okay? So how does the form looks like? In the vacation request document library, if you click a new document, this is the vacation form. This is built using InfoPath. Since this session is focusing on the workflow, so I will be leaving this part on you or for your efforts to do so, but it's really very easy to do so. And then there are also many posters and blogs talking about it. And to reassure you, consider like 2 days from our session to have a documentation step by step with how the form is build, and it's like a documentation for the webinar, so you will have that available and will be published and sent by emails as well, so do not worry about that. So this InfoPath form has 3 views, right? The default one is this one: vacation request, name, start date, end date, in case of attachment, like if you have a sick leave and you need to prove that, you can attach for me the document, the doctor's document, right? And the vacation type, here is the drop-down list that will get the values from the vacation types custom list, the manager, and then notes. All right, in case you have any notes. Once we submit, you have two actions. If the balance of the user is 0, we are sending him to a view where we are telling him, here you have no balance to take a vacation, and then it closes the form. If the balance of the user is greater than 0, we are sending him to a form, to a view called success, saying your request has been submitted successfully. Okay, so if you look in here, the vacation types, I'm retrieving those values from the custom list. This custom list, sorry, vacation types. This custom list, I'm retrieving the values from here. And then there is a field hidden, or at least it's not displayed here, called balance. Okay, this balance, I'm getting its values from the employees contacts list. Okay, and this column, I'm gonna repeat it again with you here to know how it is done. And this is really very tricky column, but I love it. I really love this column. Okay, so going back to the vacation request, and there is no workflow done so far. This is only the forms and the connections. So I'm gonna click here on new document, and I will choose a start date. Currently may have 10 days, okay? And I should go to the success form, and I will take like 2 days, and I don't have any attachments, and that would be annual vacation. And I will put Peter because I know this user exists in my Active Directory. Okay, and no notes, it's fine. And then I will click submit. Your request had been submitted successfully, and then thank you, and it closes. All right, you see that I submitted a request and I got the form displayed for me successfully. Now if I go to add new document and I will choose here this time Peter, we need to do later on, there is a web service where it's a SharePoint out of the box web service where you get current logged in user, okay, and display that in the name field. You can add a lot, you can do a lot actually. Here I will end at 13, and then I will say it's annual vacation, and I will say Mai Desouki is my manager, and then submit. Oh, Peter have no balance. You have no balance to take a vacation. Okay, so I'll close that, and Peter's vacation is not submitted. Okay, looking at this is because in his balance he have 0. All right. Okay, so okay, now we need to add a workflow for that. Okay, before I do that, I need to show you or tell you about this tricky balance column and how did I get it, and I depended on the name. Okay, so to visualize this, I hope you have experience already with Entopath. I'm assuming that in my session actually. So I want to show you a value for the balance because currently it is hidden. Okay. All right. So I just added the text box where I will change its binding to the balance to see the value. All right. And I will click publish again, and then I will come back and show you how I got this balance. Okay. Because everything is actually very easy and there is no tricky parts actually in all this form. Only this I will show you how it is a little bit tricky, and I'm not sure if it's available over the posters. Okay, so this is 10 for my in the employees list, and if I click Peter, 0. Okay, you see that it changed at the bottom below. Let's try to add my again. Yeah, my 10 Peter. But later on, I would really recommend, or it should be, that you use a web service where you get current logged in user. You know what? I will try to add that in my documentation so that you would have the whole cycle for you documented. Okay. Because actually here we are focusing still on the workflow part. So going back to this field and how I did this field, okay, assuming that I would change it to field one, okay. So first thing, let me show you the data connections I have. The employees, I'm retrieving value from the employees contact list, okay, where I need to get the balance. The vacation type, it's a retriever as well. And finally, the SharePoint library submit, where I'm submitting the vacation requests in the vacation request document library. All right. Okay. So returning back to the balance of the employees and how am I displaying that based on the name. If we're talking about this field, okay, which I just got it after I added the text box field, and then what I do exactly is insert a field or group, and then I retrieve that from the employees contact list, okay, using the query here, the current balance, and then I got the balance right, but I didn't say from but I didn't filter the balance that I retrieved, okay? Because I retrieved all the balances, but I didn't retrieve which balance do I need. So I will filter that based on the name, okay? From the employees list, contact list, there is a first name. I need that to be equal to the field name in my form. All right? Okay. And then I click OK. And then OK. OK again. And then OK again. Okay. Now I will change the binding of this field to be for field 1. Okay. And it should get me the same. Now this button is just publish. It's a quick publish because this form has been published before. Alright, so there is a mistake here. Let me go back. Going back again. The reason for that is we need to choose instead of query fields, we need to choose current balance. Yes, I would change that. And the filter would be I would add this again. First name is equal to the field name in my form. Yes. So when the field name is equal to my and the field name or the column name coming from the employees contact list is equal to my as well, and there where there will be displaying the balance for my publishing. Okay, there you go. So if I click Peter 0, if I click my 10, okay. Now I will close this form. Now let's go and build our vacation, our workflow, okay? Again, I'm assuming here that you understand InfoPath, and I only showed you regarding the balance, okay? It's a blank form where it's built using InfoPath Designer, all right? And I used one of the tables here to do this form, okay, right? And the columns are added from the controls over here, or okay, and the connections are done from here. And and again there are many posts over the internet to explain that, but again I will add that in my documentation and make sure it is added in details. All right. So again, going back to our workflow in SharePoint Designer, I opened the site using SharePoint Designer. Going to the workflows, we will create a new workflow for our vacation request document library. We will call it vacation request workflow. Sorry. Make sure that you are using 2013 platform. And just a very technical part, a very technical thing that I need to say in this area, where do you see this SharePoint 2013 workflow? There are, I don't want to say many to don't scare you, but there are many actually installation and the configuration to do. It's not that it is here by default. No, it's not. So there is something called Workflow Manager. I hope you are familiar with it. It's a separate installation where you need to install and configure. and there is a PowerShell to register the workflow service. Okay, and there are, you know what? I have already the documentation for this, and I'll be adding it to the our documentation for the workflow. This is already written, and I will make sure it is added here for this webinar as well. And there are three different ways to validate your installation and the configuration. One of them is to see the platform added here, SharePoint 2013 workflow. So we will choose SharePoint 2013 workflow and click OK. You see that in the SharePoint 2013 workflow, it's divided into stages. The first stage I want to say check balance, and let's add another stage. Get team leader approval, team leader approval, and let's add another stage called HR approval. So I will add an if condition to check the balance or send an email based on the balance, I mean. So I will get that from the current item in the balance column. We click OK, and if it's equal to anything more than 0 is greater than, it will never be 0 because I don't take the form when it is 0. Okay, there is no greater than, so I can say if it's not equal to 0, it's not equal to 0. Okay. In this part, I would say I would send an I would sorry I would assign task. I would assign a task to the team leader. Okay, which we will take it as a manager from our form. That would be workflow lookup for a user, the current item, and then I will get the manager here. They are alphabetically. It will be the display name, because currently I want to show you that sorry, the manager is a people picker control, which is a group. It's an info path thing, okay? And we will get the display name, all right? So this is the display name, which is when we published the form, it went as called the display name, but we can change that name later to a column called display name, which is here the manager, okay? We can change that later. Display name, so I'll click OK and OK. And here I will assign a task saying that vacation requests. Then I will say, please check vacation request needs your approval. All right. And we can do much more here. We can say request, and this is the beauty of this workflow. Request had been submitted by, okay, and then I can send the name of the requester, which will be the name field. All right, name for using forms, that's fine. Yeah. Regards location system. It's nice. All right. Task options. Wait for task completion. Yeah, of course, wait for task completion, and the due date would be. I will leave that empty. That's fine. Email options. Email editor. This is how the team leader will receive his task, and then we can add requester again here. Requester. Yeah. Yeah, here is the convenient part, which will be vacation requests. Let's get it from the current item. Current item. Yeah, and then it will be name. Yes. Okay, yeah, that's it. Okay, okay. And for that, we would go to the next stage. Go to stage, go to the team leader approval, and then we will come here. We need to put an if condition here to say if the workflow variable, which is the outcome workflow variable, which will be the outcome, okay? If it is approved, okay, we will be going to the, sorry, we would be going to, sorry, sorry, I need to put this down, put this below the cut condition, and I need to put it here. Paste condition, yes. So if it is approved, we will go to stage, yeah. We will go to the HR approved, okay. And in case if it's not, then we need to go to another stage where we need to have here another stage called, for example, insufficient vacation, yeah. And then once it is cancelled, we will go to insufficient vacation stage, and then here need not to mention that we need to put, for example, here a log to history where we are going to say that currently at team leader approval stage. Okay, it's good to know. And then in the HR, another in the stage, okay, another condition, if approved, okay, in the workflow variable where we will tell the outcome, okay, if it is equal to approved, we will just log that out. Sorry, we need to add a stage here. Completed. And in the completed stage, we will end the workflow. Okay, so if it is approved by the HR, we are going to go for completed workflow. Otherwise, we are going to go for insufficient vacation. The insufficient vacation. All right. So an insufficient vacation, I would send an email to the user requested it. So you see here, user who created current item. Okay. And I would say the subject of the stage, insufficient vacation. And I would say, oh come on, dear who requested it will be current item. And I need to say like dear Mai created by, yeah, okay, and then semicolon. And I would say kindly your request had been rejected, or yeah, rejected. Please contact your team leader, for example. Please contact your team leader regards vacation system. Okay, and click OK. And then we can put his team leader as well in the CC. Workflow looker for column, current item, which is display name. Display name, display name. Yeah, display name. Okay, okay, okay. When we go to the HR, we need to assign a task here. Assign a task to the HR, whom I will add the name, probably static or something. Or I can select one by force. Yeah. Let me choose an easy name. Paul West, okay. Is the HR. And then I will say vacation request. Yeah. Please check vacation request task. Okay. Yeah, once he approve it to go to the completed, or once he's rejecting it, then it will go to insufficient vacations. In the stage of the insufficient vacations, I send an email to the who created by, and then we go to the completed stage. Right? Okay, so we have 5 stages. Check balance. If it's not equal to 0, I assign a task to the team leader, and then we go to the team leader stage. Here, we go to the team leader stage. I log that, and then if it is approved, we go to the HR stage. Otherwise, we go to insufficient vacation. When we go to the HR, I assign a task to Paul West, who is the HR. If it is approved, we go to the completed stage. If not, we go to insufficient vacation. In the insufficient vacation, I send an email to who created it, and then I go to the completed stage. In the completed stage, I just end the workflow. All right. Sweet. Now let's save that. We need to check for errors. Workflow contains no errors. Remember the Visio view, switch views, Visual Designer. It's converting now my workflow to the Visual Designer, and we will visualize it. Yeah, it's great. Every stage has a square. Yeah, the completed is empty. If conditions are in between. Awesome. What's in below? Something below. Yeah. Oh no, nothing. All right, let's return back. Just click here. There you go. It's great, right? Okay. Okay. Let's publish. Publishing the workflow to the vacation request document library. And let's come here and save our workflow as a template, which means we are packaging it, saved as template. Do you see where? Site assets library. All right. Going back here, site settings. Sorry, I mean site contents. Site contents. In the assets, in the site assets, you have the workflow as check below the status, WSB. Right click, save storage as desktop documents. Okay, it's fine. Thank you. We would need to as well save those lists with us to have it packaged and send it to the Office 365. to work properly because we're getting values from those columns, from those libraries. Yeah. Okay. So we would need to publish the form to Office 365 as well. And this is, yeah, this is it, how to package it. Now let's look at our workflow. You see, now it's attached here. Now I will tell this to run over this item, workflows, vacation request workflow. We are here in the first stage, check balance. You see that? Checking balance. If you go here, you see in the tasks, it's currently a task has been assigned to Peter John, which is not started yet. Looking here, first thing that we had is the check balance. And if it is not equal to 0, we are assigning tasks. So we are currently here. All right. Now we need to log in as Peter. I gave him permission already, yes. Starting in a private session and logging as Peter. Yeah. We are now logged in as Peter. Going to the vacation requests, and you can go to just the tasks here, workflow tasks list, and then you see Peter has a task assigned to him. You open this task, and please check vacation request needs your approval. Request had been submitted by the name of the form. May at this time. Okay, regards vacation request system. That's very nice. Edit it. This is something else than the email. You have approved or rejected, right? This is the output of the workflow. Approved. Okay, now Peter has done his part. Going back here, you see this task is not started yet. It should be completed by now. It's completed. Great. Now the workflow has been sent to Paul West, the HR, and we are saying currently at team leader approval stage. Going here, we see this logged in the workflow, team leader approval stage. And because it was approved, we have sent the task to the HR by going to the stage of the HR. We went to the stage because it was approved. We are in the stage of the HR approval, and now there is a task assigned to Paul West. I actually didn't give Paul West a permission yet, so we need to go to site settings and give him permission so that he can approve the workflow. I'll grant the permission. Paul West. Okay. And I would give him something more. Show options. Would have like contribute, HR, share with him. And I was just logging to using Google Chrome. Logging as Paul. Okay. Going to his tasks. Okay. Yeah. And we need to approve it. Yeah, please check vacation request task. Oh, this is now Google Chrome, so the ribbon is a little bit hidden. Edit item. And I will say, okay, I approve. This is Paul West. Thank you, Paul. And then we go back to our vacation request. It's completed, and it went to the stage of the completed workflow. Awesome. Now the workflow is completed. The tasks went to the users, one to the manager, which I selected from the column, and one added as a static in the workflow, Paul West, but you can get the HR later from a dynamic way. And then the log history, and yes, we are checking all the time the approved or rejected using the workflow outcome from the tasks list. You see this workflow tasks outcome. So this is really very nice. It's really very nice. It's not, what can I say? It's not difficult how to do so, and you can visualize it. You can share this with your manager. You can export that to Visio before you do anything. Documents, save that. Exporting the workflow. You can have the diagram printed somewhere. You can have the business meeting or a discussion about how you are building your workflow, and this is how you make sure before you just build it to make sure that the requirements are gathered successfully and accurate. Yeah, so there you go. I have a Visio diagram here, which I can add to my documentation. And I will add that to the documentation indeed. Yeah. One last thing that I want to share with you is when I switch to view, I don't only see the flowchart of the workflow, but I can also add actions on it. So I can keep working on the flowchart, right? You can just right click here. Okay, here. Yeah, I want to show you this column. Oh, this button. It's this teeny button. The task settings. You see, this is what we were building and what we were adding text to it using the text-based. But now we are in the Visual Designer and we can still do so. So you can keep working with the flow charts and add actions and the conditions to it and add the values to it. And it's very nice. It works perfect. Okay. So those are the stages where you can add each stage and step and the start, the conditions, the if condition, if value equals to value, and the actions, assign task, add a comment, yeah, assign task, okay. Very nice. Going back, yep. Now, Office 365, SharePoint Online. Now, this is an Office 365 SharePoint site collection. Now we need to upload our workflow package in here by going to site settings. Remember the WSP that we exported? Going to solutions, upload solution. We will browse the WSP that we have exported. Yeah, there you go. Activate that. Okay, it's activated. Now to make this work, there will be a feature for this that needs to be activated. Manage site features. You just do control find workflow. You see workflow template, vacation request workflow from web template Contuso team site, which is the one we were working on. Activate. Now that we have activated the solution of the workflow and the WSP and its feature, the last thing that I want to show you, remember this Visio diagram that we have exported. We need now to import this using SharePoint Designer in our SharePoint Online. I'm going to show you how to do so. Oh, sorry, I mean this one. Team ITMail, okay. Opening up, this is SharePoint Online, the workflows. Okay, now we have our workflow, and let me import the diagram from import Visio 2013 diagram. You see that? Let's call it vacation workflow. Okay. Now it's getting all the workflows, the workflow flowchart. There you go. Now in SharePoint Online. It's amazing. You can come here and start doing the task settings from here, which could be different or should be different. Yeah, that should be different. Remember, you see this current item is not going anywhere to anything. So we need as well to save the list as end template and publish it there. Yeah, you save the list as template and create from this template. The info path should be published to the new site so that your workflow should be working as expected. Yeah, that was great. Going back our slides. And the last thing we saw when we packaged our workflow and uploaded as a solution in Office 365, SharePoint Online. Yeah. Questions, you may send me your question over an email. That would be great. And yeah, you feel free to contact me. Thank you. Thank you for joining our webinar. And on the left, this is all my contacts. So expecting you can, if you can have it, if you have any questions, you can email me immediately. It's fine. I totally responded to my email. Thank you.